Sometimes, the NBA doesn't need a trade to shake the ground. All it needs is an idea. And right now, inside the walls of Los Angeles, an idea is quietly gaining traction, one that could reshape the Lakers' identity for the rest of the season. The purple and gold are winning. Luka Doncic is smiling, and DeAndre Ayton looks reborn. But behind the scenes, front office eyes are already scanning the trade market. Not for a superstar headline, but for something far more dangerous: depth, defense, and disruption. And one familiar name keeps surfacing in those conversations. Let's talk about why the Lakers may be plotting a reunion no one is truly prepared for. The Lakers' front court. Strong, but not complete at this point in the season. Few teams can say they feel comfortable with their center rotation. The Los Angeles Lakers, surprisingly, are one of them, at least on the surface. DeAndre Ayton's first season in Los Angeles has been nothing short of a redemption arc. After years of inconsistency and criticism, Ayton has found exactly what every athletic big man dreams of: a generational playmaker system that simplifies his role, and a city desperate to believe in him playing alongside Luka Doncic has changed everything. Luka doesn't just pass, he orchestrates. And Ayton has become one of the biggest beneficiaries of that orchestra. Through 21 games, Ayton is averaging 15.3 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, 1.1 blocks, 70.6% shooting from the field. Those numbers don't just pop, they scream efficiency. Most of Ayton's buckets come from rim runs, pick and roll finishes, second chance opportunities, no ego, no forced touches, just production. Defensively, he's been disciplined, protecting the paint without gambling, staying vertical, and letting his size do the talking. So why would the Lakers mess with something that's working? Because smart franchises don't wait for problems. They anticipate them. The real question: what happens when Ayton sits? Here's where concern begins. In a playoff series, rotations tighten. Fatigue rises. Matchups get merciless. And suddenly, every minute without your starting center becomes a stress test. When Ayton goes to the bench, the Lakers face a reality they'd rather avoid. Rim protection drops, defensive communication weakens, rebounding becomes inconsistent. It's not catastrophic, but it's exploitable. And in the Western Conference, anything exploitable gets punished. That's why league insiders believe Rob Pelinka and the Lakers Brain Trust are actively exploring one specific upgrade: a legitimate backup center who can defend the rim, run the floor, and survive playoff minutes. Not a developmental project. Not a stretch big who disappears defensively, but someone who fits the Lakers' evolving identity. And according to NBA insider Keith Watkins of Heavy, there's one name that checks every box. A familiar face enters the conversation. Keith Watkins recently proposed a trade idea that caught the attention of league observers. Not because it's flashy, but because it's logical. The idea? Reunite DeAndre Ayton with his former Portland Trail Blazers teammate, Robert Williams III. Yes, that Robert Williams. The same 6'9", 2.06-meter defensive menace once known in Boston as a crowd igniter, a shot blocker machine, a vertical lob threat, who changed games without scoring. Watkins didn't mince words when describing the fit. Williams fits the identity the Lakers prioritize. He protects the rim, plays above the basket, and covers ground in a way most centers simply can't. That sentence alone explains why this conversation matters. The Lakers don't need another scorer in the paint. They have Ayton for that. They need energy, mobility, and defensive intimidation. And when healthy, Robert Williams brings all three. Why Williams makes sense for Los Angeles? Let's break this down. Basketball, not hype. Elite timing, a rim protector Robert Williams' most underrated trait isn't his jumping. It's his timing. He doesn't chase blocks recklessly. He doesn't bite on every fake. Instead, he waits. Watkins highlighted this perfectly. His timing as a shot blocker remains elite. Williams can meet guards at the rim, rotate weak side, erase mistakes made on the perimeter. For a Lakers team that occasionally struggles containing dribble penetration, that's invaluable. Mobility in switch situations in today's NBA. Centers get hunted. If you can't switch, you can't survive. Williams can survive. His lateral quickness allows him to switch briefly onto guards, recover back to the paint contest shots. Without fouling, he's not Bam Adebayo, but he's miles ahead of traditional drop-only bigs. That flexibility matters deeply in the postseason. Vertical spacing offensively, now imagine this. Luka Doncic running high pick and roll. Williams setting the screen. Defense hesitates for half a second. That's all it takes. Watkins described it best. His vertical leap gives any ball handler an easy target for high passes in traffic. Williams doesn't need plays called for him. He doesn't need touches. He just needs space. And Luka creates space better than anyone alive. Something the Lakers currently lack. This is a line that might define the entire conversation. He also gives the Lakers something they don't currently have behind Ayton, a second center with real defensive presence. That's the heart of it, a player who can anchor the defense while starters rest protect the rim for 12 to 16 minutes a night, swing momentum with effort and anticipation. Those players don't make headlines. They win playoff games. The elephant in the room, injuries now, let's be honest, because real journalism demands it. Robert Williams' career has been haunted by injuries, knees, ankles, load management, missed stretches. The parallels to Anthony Davis during his Lakers tenure are impossible to ignore. Since entering the NBA in 2018, Williams has spent too much time on the sideline, frustrating teams and fans alike. And yet, when he plays, the impact is undeniable. Production when available this season with Portland, despite limited games, Williams is averaging 5.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, 1.7 blocks, 66.7% shooting from the field. Those numbers don't tell the full story. His real impact shows up in altered shots, opponents avoiding the paint, defensive energy shifts. He doesn't stuff the stat sheet. He changes behavior. And that's exactly the kind of player contenders quietly hunt for at the deadline. The contract factor. Why this is realistic here is where things get interesting. Williams is owed approximately $48 million over the remainder of his contract. That makes him affordable, movable, one of the cheapest quality bigs on the trade market for a Lakers team that must stay flexible financially. This matters. You're not trading for a star. You're trading for insurance. And championships are often won by insurance policies fans never talk about until it's too late. If you've stayed with me until the end, it's because you feel it too. Something is moving behind the scenes in Los Angeles. These are the kind of decisions that don't explode on social media right away. But months later, we look back and say, that's where everything changed. So now I want to hear you. Do the Lakers really need another defensive big? Would Robert Williams be the missing piece for a deep playoff run? Or should the front office look in a completely different direction? Drop your opinion in the comments. I read them all, and your voice matters here. If you enjoyed this analysis, hit that like, because it helps this channel grow more than you imagine. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next block of this story, because what's coming next could change everything. This is sports journalism with emotion, truth, and no shortcuts. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.